sent his only son, Hamish, out to rape twa Campbell lasses.
At the same time,
35 worst compulsive seducers in Hollywood history. Think Hollywood romances are all red carpets and roses? Think again. Today, we're peeling back the glittering facade to expose the shocking tales of Hollywood's most notorious heartbreakers and seducers. Number 35, Ava Gardner. Did Ava Gardner's off-screen romances rival her on-screen allure? Find out the truth about Hollywood's original femme fatale. Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra, sang songs about this star, but he wasn't the only man to get all caught up in Ava's allure. She married for a brief period to actor Mickey Rooney in the early 40s. And while he at one point boasted about how good their love life was in his eyes, Gardner burst his bubble by saying that while he may have enjoyed the sex, she sure didn't. Gardner famously also involved the eccentric multimillionaire Howard Hughes and the jazz musician Artie Shaw before marrying Sinatra in 1951. Gardner later had an affair with Ernest Hemingway while vacationing in Cuba. To get an exact count on the number of men that Gardner seduced would be downright impossible, because even the partners that we just lifted off the top are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of her sexual conquests.
You're moving.
Was it you who kissed me?
You're talking.
Number 34, Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor's violet eyes weren't the only thing mesmerizing Hollywood. Her love life was equally captivating. This legendary actress was famed for both her acting chops and her distinct beauty. Taylor was also known for being one of the most scandalous seductresses in show business back in her day. Perhaps her most controversial moment happened when she slept with singer Eddie Fisher while he was married to her best friend, Debbie Reynolds. Taylor and Fisher eventually married after he broke things off with Reynolds, although the two would ultimately divorce. Throughout her life, Taylor married 7 times, although she married Richard Burton, the man she considered the love of her life, twice. After divorced for the last time in 1996, when she parted ways with construction worker Larry Fortensky, she decided that enough was enough and remained single until 2011 when she passed away.
You come here then running over with wine and self-pity to conquer Caesar.
so long now.
Number 33, Vivian Lee. Best known for portraying Scarlett O'Hara and Blanche DuBois in the films Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire, Lee is also known for being stunningly beautiful and irresistible to the leading men she accompanied on screen. But for her, success didn't come easy, and her notorious marriage to Sir Laurence Olivier was tumultuous as the classic Hollywood stars, to say the least. When she first laid eyes on Olivier while attending a play he's performing in, she told her friend she's with at the time that he's the man that she's destined to marry someday. Despite the fact that she's already married to her first husband, Hubert Lee Hillman. But to her, people were disposable. She's willing to do anything and everything to achieve what she wanted, regardless of who got hurt in the process. Olivier likewise married when he caught Lee's attention, but that didn't stop her from following him and his wife when they vacationed in Capri. Lee and Olivier ended up sleeping together, even though his wife, Jill Esmond, was pregnant with his child. Olivier then kicked Esmond to the curb and married Lee shortly after. After she divorced Olivier in 1960, Lee dated John Maravalli for 7 years before passing away in 1967 from tuberculosis. Other partners that are linked to Lee include Marlon Brando, Elia Kazan, Orson Welles, Justin Mitchell, Alexander Korda, Stuart Granger, Ona Munson, and Peter O'Toole, among others.
Good evening. Good evening. Why, Scarlett. Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Scarlett.
Ashley, aren't you going to get our Scarlett a glass of punch?
Number 32, Tula Bankhead. Tula Bankhead's Hollywood escapades were as scandalous as her stage presence. discover the untold stories. She was drop-dead gorgeous, witty, rebellious, and not afraid in the least bit to speak her mind, regardless of how her words alienated people in her orbit. Bankhead was one of the most prominent sex symbols of her day. She notoriously got around, and her sexual appetite was said to be bottomless. She's also openly bisexual at a time when that sexual orientation wasn't widely accepted in society. In an interview with Motion Picture Magazine in 1932, Bankhead bragged that she hadn't had an affair in 6 months, complaining that was 6 months too long. She went on to explain that she had numerous momentary love affairs and impromptu romances that she went into impulsively. In 1933, Bankhead almost died after having a 5-hour emergency hysterectomy procedure due to venereal disease. When she left the hospital, she told the doctor that he shouldn't assume that she had learned a lesson from the ordeal. The New Yorker reported that Bankhead claimed that she had slept with roughly 500 people throughout her life. In addition to her many affairs with male stars, Tallulah also linked romantically with female celebs like Greta Garbo, Hattie McDaniel, Beatrice Lillie, and Marlene Dietrich. Number 31, Jane Mansfield. Did Jane Mansfield's bombshell persona extend beyond the silver screen? The truth behind her tumultuous love life revealed. This actress, aside from Mae West, was probably the most racy and sexually promiscuous actress in Hollywood's history. The blonde bombshell, who's famously photographed giving Sophia Loren an eye full of cleavage, had countless lovers throughout her life. She's even rumored to have once been John F. Kennedy's mistress for a spell, but really, who wasn't? Her most infamous romp, however, was with Church of Satan founder Anton LaVey, although Anton would only publicly claim that he had an affair with her after the actress had passed away following a horrific automobile accident in 1967.
In the Miss Florida Grapefruit Contest, and he's the one you can't forget and never will. So why do you keep picking up with these schnooks?
Number 30, Mae West. Mae West's legendary wit wasn't her only charm. Her romantic entanglements were just as legendary. Another blonde bombshell that deserves mention in this video is this Brooklynite actress who took Hollywood by storm in the early 1939s with her deliberately loose image and one of the classic Hollywood stars. She was someone that was ahead of her time. West supported gay rights, slept with African-American lovers, and openly ridiculed the traditional institution of marriage. When West was 17, she married vaudeville actor Frank Zatkus, who performed under the stage name Frank Wallace. She attempted to keep that marriage a secret, but it's revealed to the public when a filing clerk discovered the marriage certificate and promptly alerted the press. West divorced Wallace in 1942. While Wallace is the only person West ever married, she's well known for sleeping around. One of her most famous lovers was Paul Novak, who she claimed was the love of her life.
I am delighted. I have heard so much about you.
Yeah, but you can't prove it. Your bath is ready, Miss Lou. You take it. I'm indisposed.
Number 29, Lupe Valdez. Lupe Valdez's fiery screen presence mirrored her passionate off-screen life. Uncover the scandals that rocked her world. Known by some as the Mexican Spitfire, Valdez rumored to have died with her head in a toilet after committing suicide in response to her lover leaving her and their unborn child. According to her secretary, however, Valdez was actually found deceased in her bed. Valdez tied to actor Gary Cooper, whom she dated for many years and referred to as the love of her life. She was reportedly viciously jealous of Cooper and repeatedly accused him of having affairs with actor Anderson Lawler, among others. Lupe was notorious for her flagrant exhibitionism. It's rumored that she slept with hundreds of lovers throughout her life. Valdez would also routinely lift her skirt over her head to reveal that she wasn't wearing any underwear. Classy.
Wait a minute, Carmen, you can't do that. Oh, can't I? Well, just watch me. Look out, Lulu.
Number 28, Clara Bo. Hollywood's original it girl, Clara Bo, lived a life as tumultuous as her on-screen persona. Discover her off-screen dramas. This actress was the Hollywood it girl of the silent film era and was one of the film industry's first starlets. By the time she retired from acting at the age of 28 in 1931, her life already steeped in scandal. It's rumored that she slept with the entire USC football team, and she routinely treated her boyfriends as engagements, which only created controversy when she would promptly move on to the next one.
The result was to be Clara Bo, the culmination of the flapper heroine. A sexy little girl, a tease.
Number 27, Louise Brooks. Louise Brooks' silent beauty masked a life filled with romantic turmoil. Explore the secrets behind her iconic image. This actress had an incredibly brief yet prolific film career. After leaving her first husband, director Eddie Sutherland, she fell for George Preston Marshall, who was the owner of the Washington Redskins at the time. She eventually left him to marry someone else, whom she likewise left after only being married for a little under 6 months. She had many lovers, including Greta Garbo, and was not opposed to posing in the nude, something that she would frequently do. Number 26, Jean Maro. Jean Maro's seductive allure wasn't confined to her films. Her real-life romances were equally captivating. Jean Maro was known for her promiscuity, which was unusual for a French actress at the time. She had a number of affairs with famous men, including Louis Malle, Francois Truffaut, and Marlon Brando. She was also rumored to have had affairs with Jean-Paul Belmondo and Alain Delon. Maro's promiscuity was likely due to a number of factors, including her upbringing and her desire for freedom. She was raised in a bourgeois family, but she was always a rebellious spirit. She became a successful actress at a young age, and she used her newfound wealth and fame to enjoy life to the fullest. She was married to Jean-Louis Richard from 1949 to 1962, and they had one son together, Jerome. She had a long-term relationship with Louis Malle in the 1950s and the 60s. She had a brief affair with Francois Truffaut in the early 1960s. She had a rumored affair with Marlon Brando in the early 1960s. And she also had rumored affairs with Jean-Paul Belmondo and Alain Delon. Number 25, Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen's cool exterior hid a life of intense passion and scandal. Uncover the truth about the king of cool. Perhaps the baddest of the Hollywood bad boys, McQueen embodies the barely contained hot temper, the appealing tyrant who must take charge as he would rather reign in hell than serve in heaven, as John Milton would say. Unlike others who only displayed their qualities of a merciless Don Juan in their early youth to later become deceptively tamed with age, Johnny Depp or George Clooney are your contemporary examples. McQueen was eternally incorrigible in and out of his successful 3 marriages to Barbara Minty, Ally McGraw, and Nellie Adams. Number 24, Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner's Playboy lifestyle wasn't just a magazine fantasy. It was a reality filled with scandalous affairs. Hefner epitomizes the modern Playboy both symbolically and literally through his legendary magazine that featured everyone who's sexy on this planet, starting with Marilyn Monroe. He was one of the most potent advocates of sexual liberation and freedom of expression. The lifestyle he envisioned and made for himself, with the numerous sexual partners involved, never prevented him from respecting women and being equally respected by them. His controversial declaration, "The major civilizing force in the world is not religion, it is sex," is a mantra he proved could be true through his glorious life. The king is dead. Long lives the king.
Jeff may be 80, but he's still got all the right moves.
Number 23, Jack Nicholson. Physical and sexual vitality is one of the reasons that I'm lively, Nicholson was reported saying. The man has no fewer than 6 children by 5 women. Kim Basinger described him as the most highly sexed individual she had ever met, while the late Playboy model Karen Mayo Chandler revealed that he ate peanut butter and jam sandwiches in bed to keep his strength up. Oscar-winning actress and longtime partner Angela Houston called him Jack the Jumper because of his numerous infidelities, and wrote she was laughed at when suggesting to him marriage. Today, the star of Chinatown, The Shining, and A Few Good Men admits he is lonely and facing death alone because, surprise, women don't trust him. The Hollywood legend is a real Jack the Lad, with a reputed 2,000 lovers. They have included actresses and models such as Michelle Phillips, Bebe Buell, Laura Flynn Boyle, Angelica Houston, and Rebecca Broussard. The 81-year-old has only been married once, to Sandra Knight, between 1962 and 1968. He has 5 children from 3 different women, his actress wife Susan Anspaugh and actress Rebecca Broussard.
Starts screwing again. He says, "Excuse me for a minute, honey." He goes out and he smokes a cigarette. Now, his wife is getting sore as hell. He comes back in the room. He starts screwing again. He gets up to start to leave again to go look at the moon. She looks at him and says, "Hey, what's the matter with you?"
Number 22, Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth may be remembered as a Hollywood femme fatale and pinup icon, but the woman behind the image was very different. A shy young woman pushed into her acting career by the domineering men in her life, Hayworth endured a string of painful failed marriages. But for a time, she found happiness with the man she called the great love of her life.
I look my very best, Ballin. I want all the hired help to approve of me. Glad to have met you, Mr. Farrell.
His name's Johnny, Gilda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Johnny is such a hard name to remember.
Number 21, Greg Bowzer. Long before notorious trials like O.J. Simpson made momentary celebrities out of legal eagles like Marcia Clark, Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, and Robert Kardashian, there was attorney Greg Bowzer. Bowzer, who scraped his way up from humble beginnings to become the most trusted confidant of the elite of Hollywood, was a golden boy attorney of the era. Besides his considerable legal prowess, Bowzer, with his dark, movie star good looks, became popular fodder for gossip columns because of his romances with some of Hollywood's most beautiful stars: Lana Turner, Dorothy Lamour, Joan Crawford, Marlene Dietrich, Meryl Oberon, Greer Garson, Jane Wyman, Ella Raines, and Ginger Rogers. Actor Robert Wagner said he, Greg Bowzer, was the only person I ever knew in Hollywood who was a star without being in a movie.
Even a back injury couldn't keep Greg Bowzer from showing up with the adorable Jane Wyman.
Number 20, Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski's controversial life wasn't limited to filmmaking. His personal life was equally tumultuous. Samantha Geimer was 13 when she was sexually abused by Roman Polanski in 1977. And the Rosemary's Baby filmmaker, ironically, the film starred Dylan's mother Mia and is considered one of the signature works of Palansky, was later charged with a number of offenses, including rape by use of drugs, perversion, sodomy, and lewd and lascivious act upon a child under 14. Palansky pleaded not guilty to all the charges, but later accepted a plea bargain which led to a dismissal of the initial charges in exchange for a guilty plea to the lesser charge of engaging in unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. He fled to France in 1978 before he could be formally sentenced, and has been living there ever since. In her memoir, The Girl, A Life in the Shadow of Roman Polanski, Geimer accounts the mental trauma she had to suffer even 3 decades later, when Polanski was arrested in 2009. She wrote, "Opinions on the Palansky case go something like this. He was a vile pedophile whose power allowed him to escape the long arm of the law. Or, he was a troubled man whose own horrific background did not allow him to gauge the difference between a child and a young woman."
I called you a cab. Get his ass out of here.
Where did you get this sandwich, Brazil? Dominicana. Natural.
Number 19, Gloria Swanson. Gloria Swanson was a silent film star who was known for her beauty, glamour, and independence. She was also known for her promiscuity. Swanson had a number of affairs with famous men, including Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., Charlie Chaplin, and Cecil B. DeMille. She was also rumored to have had affairs with Rudolph Valentino and Douglas Fairbanks. Number 18. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle's comedic genius was overshadowed by scandal. Uncover the untold stories of Hollywood's fallen star. Popular comedian Fatty Arbuckle was acquitted of charges stemming from the death of actress Virginia Rapp after a hotel party, during which Arbuckle reportedly violently abused and raped her. Suffering brutal injuries, including a ruptured bladder, Rapp died in the hospital days later. There wasn't enough evidence to charge Arbuckle, but his reputation suffered greatly after Rapp's death. Number 17. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, the enigmatic Swedish-born actress, remains one of Hollywood's most enduring legends. Born Greta Lovisa Gustafsson on September 18, 1905, Garbo captivated audiences with her mesmerizing beauty and intense performances. She rose to fame during the silent film era, starring in classics such as Flesh and the Devil in 1926 and The Mysterious Lady in 1928. Her transition to sound films was seamless, showcasing her sultry voice in movies like Anna Christie 1930 and Mata Hari in 1931. Garbo was known for her mysterious persona, famously avoiding the Hollywood social scene and granting few interviews. This air of mystique only added to her allure. Her performances in films like Grand Hotel in 1932, Queen Christina in 1933, and Camille 1936 solidified her status as a cinematic icon. Despite her success, Garbo retired abruptly at the age of 35, leaving fans yearning for more. In her later years, Garbo led a reclusive life in New York City, maintaining her privacy until her death in 1990.
And they're almost twice as large as usual.
I shall have twice as many as usual tomorrow.
Twice as many? Oh, don't listen to her, Bowzer. I know what those things cost. Aren't you willing to listen to her when she orders her hats and dresses from you? They're an investment.
Number 16. Geoffrey Rush. Yale Stone accused the Australian actor of sexual misconduct in December 2018, claiming to the New York Times that Rush mistreated her while they worked together on the theater production of The Diary of a Madman in 2010 and 2011 in Sydney. The Orange is the New Black actress alleged that Rush sent her inappropriate text messages, touched her in a very sensual manner at an award show, and once held up a mirror to spy on her while she was taking a shower at the theater. Rush denied the allegations.
She's witness X in Geoffrey Rush's defamation case. The judge ruled she couldn't give evidence at his trial, but last year she spoke out anyway.
I looked up and saw a small shaving mirror being held over the top of the cubicle to be kind of used in a way to look down at my naked body.
Number 15. Jack Ryan. Ryan was known for being the sixth husband of Hollywood legend Zsa Zsa Gabor, as well as being the creator of iconic toys like Barbie and Hot Wheels. But some disturbing stories have surfaced about him since his death in 1991. According to a book called Full Service, My Adventures in Hollywood and the Secret Sex Lives of the Stars by author Scotty Bowers, Ryan created Barbie as his vision of the ideal woman, with Bowers writing that he was addicted to women, young, slim, attractive, and endowed with really big boobs. If that's not bad enough, Ryan also enjoyed inviting women over and luring them into a room with rose petals on the floor, only for them to find him lying in a coffin masturbating to shock them. So, there's that. Number 14, Scott Baio. One of the quintessential teenage heartthrobs of the 1980s. His fame grew as a star of TV shows like Happy Days and Charles in Charge. He admitted to Howard Stern in one interview that he had probably slept with over 1,000 women. He has been with a galaxy of Hollywood celebs, including Pamela Anderson, Heather Locklear, and Denise Richards. And if those facts don't freak you out, then this will. He was banned from the Playboy Mansion for sleeping with too many playmates. That's probably the most epic way anyone has gotten banned for anything.
Girlfriends. Why are you here?
I'm 45. I've never been married.
Yeah, why is that?
I will go out with you, and I hit a wall.
Yeah, I know, I remember.
Do you remember being on set and like having the Playboy magazine and like picking it out like it was a Sears catalog?
Number 13, Linda Darnell. Linda Darnell had a solid career as a squeaky clean starlet in the 40s. She made some attempts at a more overtly sexual image. Sound familiar? And things went south from there. Darnell dove into a dark period marked by alcoholism and 3 failed marriages. Darnell was known as one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelorettes when she wasn't married. She was rumored to have been involved with scores of men, including Howard Hughes and Joseph L. Mankiewicz. Though Darnell continued an active romantic life, her career began to fade. Bouts of depression marked her final years until she died in a house fire, reportedly caused by falling asleep with a lit cigarette in hand in 1965.
It'll only be with me.
You got a steady date with Miss Mills.
I'm only doing that for you.
Lot of I'm getting out of it.
You will in a couple of days.
Okay, couple days, but that don't mean forever.
Number 12, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is better remembered for his life in politics than his career in acting. But the former president was one of Tinseltown's leading men in the 1940s and 50s. One of the most cringe-inducing rumors about Reagan's time in Hollywood comes from Piper Laurie, his co-star in the 1950 drama Louisa. The actress claims that the GOP icon took her virginity when he was 39 years old and she was only 18. In her memoir, Laurie writes that she was first seduced by Reagan on the set of their film Louisa, in which he was playing her father. The actor was reportedly a gentleman at first, and even asked Laurie's mother for permission to take her on a date. But instead of the glamorous evening the actress had pictured, Reagan instead took them both to his house, where he cooked hamburger steak and salad. Things got stranger when Reagan led her back to the bedroom. According to Laurie, the actor was an insensitive show-off in bed, and made sure to brag not only about the length of time he had already been erect, 40 whole minutes, but also about how much his condom had cost. Poor Ronnie. There's really nothing in this story that makes him look good. Laurie also reports that the actor not only failed to please her, but criticized her roughly when she told him so. "There's something wrong with you that you should fix," he supposedly reported after she mentioned her lack of an orgasm.
Valerie.
Well, Peter, at least you're alive.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, aren't you going to ask me in?
Well, I was just going to bed.
Number 11, Natalie Wood. Natalie launched her acting career as an adorable tot in Miracle on 34th Street and went on to woo audiences with her pure talent and womanly charm in Rebel Without a Cause and West Side Story. But her adult life was plagued by troubled relationships and alcohol until a boozy boat ride sealed her fate.
You know what the Lampoon Award was?
Yes.
But not only for last year, but this year and next year, the worst actress of the year.
Yes.
Were you a little hesitant about coming up to accept it?
Number 10, Betty Grable. The 40s bombshell with the $1 million legs. Yes, her stems were insured by her studio for that whopping amount. Liked to pal around with her fellow bad girl Marilyn Monroe, and had a troubled marriage with swing band leader Henry Hogg James, reportedly due to infidelity and alcoholism.
I love a New Yorker, bold, breezy, and bright. I love a New Yorker who's out on the town every night.
Number 9, Lana Turner. Lana Turner's screen goddess status was overshadowed by scandals that rocked Hollywood. She may exude old Hollywood glamour, but Lana was known to kiss and tell, and often. She eloped with her first husband, bandleader Artie Shaw, on their first date when she was 19, and went on to marry 7 more times after that.
Inherited?
Yep, from my father. Best lens designer this side of the Atlantic. And it'll be in our son's blood, too.
Well, that's a pretty thought.
Mm-hmm.
My, but you look comfortable.
Number 8, Bing Crosby. Crooner Bing Crosby cheated on his wife frequently. Actress Joan Caulfield was only 22 when Crosby, then in his 40s, had an affair with her. Crosby even requested permission from the Catholic Church to divorce his wife so that he could marry Caulfield. When his request was denied, Bing ultimately stayed with his wife, although his adulterous habits continued. Other reports from his family corroborate that Crosby's public persona differed from his demeanor at home.
Bing died in 1977, dropping dead of a heart attack after playing 18 holes in Spain.
Number 7, David Niven. Actor David Niven was purportedly a maestro at this. His ability to read people and respond accordingly not only opened numerous career doors for him, but had dozens of women enthusiastically pulling back the bedsheets. Arriving in Hollywood in the mid-30s, his conquests included Marilyn Monroe, Rita Hayworth, and Grace Kelly, and he remained good friends with them throughout their lives, even through their various marriages. He didn't lack a tortured past, having been born out of his mother's affair with a prominent politician, who she later married and who refused to acknowledge David as his real son in order to avoid scandal. His mother and stepfather sent the young David off to boarding school, where he suffered brutal sexual abuse from an older boy, leading Niven to wrestle with depression throughout his life, a strong counterpoint to the bonhomme which attracted so many women. He always named his first wife, Primmy, as the love of his life, and never fully recovered from her sudden death at the age of 28 from a fall in Tyrone Power's house while playing a parlor game. Yet, the combination of past tragedy and scintillating conversation led practically everyone who fell into David Niven's orbit to be pulled toward him, including the many women, one of whom called him as delicious as a French pastry.
Sent his only son, Hamish, out to rape twa Campbell lasses.
At the same time?
Eldest first, of course.
Number 6, Clark Gable. Clark Gable's image, even 60 plus years after his death, is still that of the handsome romantic, the roguish charmer, a Rhett Butler sweeping beautiful women off their feet. The reality of Gable's life is somewhat less romantic. He was certainly a womanizer, a serial seducer and philanderer, and he ruthlessly used his attractiveness to women, particularly older women who held powerful positions in Broadway and Hollywood, to make his way to the top. He was a toy boy before the name had been coined. Once established as a star, he continued his womanizing ways. With Loretta Young, he fathered an illegitimate child whom he never acknowledged, and even when married to his soulmate, Carole Lombard, had conducted an affair with Lana Turner. The sudden, tragic death of Lombard in an air crash traumatized him and pushed him into the arms of a host of other women in a desperate search to recreate the happiness he had known with Lombard.
All right, on your feet, on your feet.
Number 5, Cary Grant. Cary Grant's suave demeanor wasn't just for the movies. His real-life romances were equally legendary. It's no secret that Cary Grant had a way with women. He married 5 times, had affairs with gorgeous actresses, and dated countless other ladies. But how did he do it? According to Grant's girlfriend and fellow actor David Niven, Grant had one simple trick up his sleeve. He quipped that to succeed with women, all you had to do was tell your equipment didn't work. As he said, she can't wait to disprove it. Also, looking like Cary Grant probably helped. Just saying. Number 4, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra had a long list of lovers, and rumors linked him to Elizabeth Taylor, Natalie Wood, and Jackie Kennedy. He also slept with showgirls in massage rooms and introduced his friend John F. Kennedy to beautiful women for the latter to seduce. Sinatra's third wife, Mia Farrow, was 5 years younger than his daughter. Throughout his life, Sinatra had multiple affairs and was often seen yelling at women in public.
come out from under that star. Yes, and incidentally.
Number 3. Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty, according to his lovers, real seducers have the ability to say exactly what is needed at a given moment in order to demonstrate they are in sync with the person in front of them. A 2010 biography of the Hollywood Lothario claimed the Oscar-winning actor had bedded 12,775 women, give or take. Having lost his virginity at the age of 20, the book also claimed he averaged 1 woman a day over the following 35 years. Apparently, that figure did not account for daytime quickies, drive-bys, casual gropings, stolen kisses, and so on. The 81-year-old now is happily married to actress Annette Bening, and the couple have 4 children. Number 2. Marilyn Monroe. Though she's possibly the most iconic sex symbol of all time, many of Marilyn's roles made her out to be an oblivious, ditzy blonde. But Marilyn was no fool in real life. She broke the heart of New York Yankees great Joe DiMaggio and allegedly had steamy affairs before meeting her tragic demise. She was also known for her promiscuity. She had a long list of lovers, including many famous men such as Joe DiMaggio, Arthur Miller, and John F. Kennedy. Monroe's promiscuity was likely due to a number of factors, including her difficult childhood and her insecurities. She was abandoned by her father and raised in foster homes, and she was repeatedly sexually abused as a child. These experiences left her feeling damaged and unworthy of love, and she often sought validation through sexual relationships.
I'd rather.
Cherry, wait a sec. Cherry, wait up. Cherry!
Number 1. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn's swashbuckling charm extended beyond the screen. His real-life adventures in love were just as legendary. Errol Flynn was not a man who became a movie star and then, on the back of fame and fortune, became an inveterate scoundrel and seducer. He is of the opposite cast. Flynn was a man who was already as inveterate scoundrel and seducer, who then happened to become a movie star and just about laid every woman in Hollywood. He's the real deal, the realest deal Hollywood's ever put forth. Errol Flynn was one of the biggest stars of the golden age of Hollywood, and almost certainly its most colorful. Flynn was a glib, fast-living, seductively charming actor who bedded many of Hollywood's leading ladies, and ranks near the top of lists of men with the highest claim all-time numbers of lays. Flynn's professed notch count was 14,000. Russell Brand, by contrast, has only managed 1,000. Eventually, Flynn's hard living caught up with him, as he descended into drug and drink-fueled benders that ruined his career and led to the former top Hollywood draw making B films in Europe. By the time he began his Hollywood comeback in the late 1950s, it was too late, and he died of health complications from his many years of dissolution.
I think we'd better be getting back. I'm afraid it'll be dark before we get there.
Are you sure it's the dark you're afraid of?
What do you mean?
Maybe you're afraid I might kiss you.
You wouldn't dare.
And there you have it. 35 of the worst compulsive seducers in Hollywood history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.